Okay, see it. All right, let's get going. Okay, for those you're gonna get a certificate, I hope everybody want to get it. Okay, you need to attend at least 8 sections online, and including the breakout room, and then 2 more you can watch later on. Complete all homework. I don't know. Have homework is fill in the blank for now. Okay, and then finish reading the textbook. If it's parent you want to read Chinese, it's okay. We're gonna have a simple final. And the end, you submit a page to just see what you learned on this. All right, very easy. So please change your screen then now. So later on we can do the breakout easily according to that code. Okay. This is roughly the time. From next week, we're going to have someone to do the presentation at the beginning. So hopefully we can finish by 6:30. All right, this is roughly schedule. This on the all this information is on my blog and the link where you register. You see that? So I'll keep on updated. So here you get an idea what chapter, how many chapters you need to read, or you can read all in once. That's okay. All right. This is the textbook. I think the English one they have a newer cover, all right, and that's the Chinese and simplify and traditional characters. Called The Church in History. It's not a new book, but I feel it's good amount. Right, I don't want you to read it's like 600 pages. All right, it's good amount and good read. You can get a taste what's it like. And later on, you can accumulate a lot of his book about church history. I have many books of that. All right. So first, you can turn the mics. Name a few events in church history that you already know. Anybody? What do you know about church history? What are major events? Jacob.
Well, there are the basics that are noted in the Bible, like
No. When we talk about church history, it's mainly after the Bible.
Yeah, then maybe about like the Reformation.
Okay, yeah. Anyone else for other events?
There are also Roman,
Vita.
Like Roman Catholic, they changed to like Christianity.
Oh, that's Reformation. That's what Jacob mentioned. Yes. Okay, what else? Usually that's what we all know. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was also saying that there are also a bunch of councils, like the Council of Nicaea.
Ah, very good. Who's that?
Caleb.
Okay. All right. Good. You already know. And how about the person? The name in the church history?
Martin Luther.
Martin Luther. Okay. Yeah. Who else?
John Calvin.
John Calvin. Good. What else? Who else?
Also, Tertullius, who was very early in church history. I think he came up with the name Trinity.
What's the name?
Tertullius.
Oh, very good. Very good. Tertullian. Okay.
Jerome.
Yeah. Who else?
Jerome.
Jerome. Ooh, wow, you already know all these names. Okay. Very good. I hope after this class, you're going to know this person. You're going to make a lot of new friends. Okay. They are that's all in our family. We should know them. Okay. So let's keep going. I love this, Charlie Brown. Okay. Who loved it? They said, when writing about church history, we have to go back to the very beginning. Okay. Is that true? Isn't right? Okay. So our pastor was born in 1930. So true, maybe that's just a joke, but usually that's all we know about. But actually, do you know about your own church history you attend now? All right. You also need to find out. Okay. So Cicero a Roman historian, he said, to be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. All right. So yeah, when you're getting older, you find out more about your family histories, and probably this is about time. And I hope by learning church history, not just about this church history, you go back to learn your family's history. Ask your mom and dad, that's your grandma, grandpa, to say, hey, tell me about this history. Nathan, good to see you, Nathan. All right. Okay. Consciousness of the past alone can make us understand the present. Wow. So we're not just learning about past. Actually, they'll help us to know how to live better today. So lesson 1, the early church. The early church. Why does the church history matter? If you don't look at your notes, anybody want to share why it matter? Or why you want to come to learn church history? Is that Selena?
Selena is my younger daughter. I don't think
okay,
she can.
Okay. She's still very young. No worry, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she just want to join, so
no problem. Welcome, Selena. Wow, you're my youngest student now. Okay, so all right, because Christianity is a historical faith. It's a historical faith. Okay, someone can read this for me. Chloe, can you read this for me?
But when the time had fully come, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under law.
Okay, you see, a certain time, right, in the history, Jesus was born. So our faith is historical faith. It's not a philosophy. There's a lot of philosophy, just idea, right? But ours is Christian. Christianity is historical faith. And that's another one. Who one can read it for me? Nathan, can you read it?
For I delivered you as of first importance, what I also received, that Christ died for our sins in accordance with the scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the scriptures.
Okay. Okay, actually, I will probably can you, if you could turn the video on, okay? So easier for me to call on you, okay? Let's have this habit. Yeah. Oh, so I get to see all these people. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, then that's more in the class, right? Thank you. Wow. Okay, so second one, church history is our family history. It's our family history. Okay, Peter 1, can you read?
Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us.
Oh yeah, you want to get to know all this witness within our family, so we can know them. By the way, do you know your uncle, auntie, all these cousins? I feel like now we also in a small family, right? So sometimes we don't really get to know them. I hope you also pay attention to them, all right? And this is, I got it from another book called The Story of Christian Theology. Our situation is like that the people who do not know their ancestry, where their family came from, or who they were, only the situation is more serious than that. It's more like a situation of people who wish to be a good citizen of nation, but know little or nothing of its history, including its founding, its war, its hero and principle, and its leaders, right? So that's why in America, we need to learn American history in the right history. Very important, because they're going to affect us. All right. Okay. Church history is our heritage. It's our heritage. Okay. Augustine, Calvin, we learned about that. What other famous writing you know about in our church history? What other famous books? Elijah, you read a lot of books. So what other books you know?
Famous writings.
Yeah.
Church history.
Yeah.
Church history. John
Not about church history in the past. Like you see the Augustine, he wrote the City of God, right? And then you know any other books? You know.
Does C.S. Lewis count?
C.S. Lewis, yes. Okay, but
John Bunyan.
John Bunyan, what's his book?
His books has the Holy Road.
Pilgrim Progress. Very good. You see, that's a lot more. I hope.
Also the confession of
What?
Augustine.
Oh, sorry, the internet. So the idea.
The confession of Augustine.
Very good. The confession. Okay. Oh, I saw that. I wrote it. So I hope after this class you're going to pick up a lot of books to read. I wish when I was young, if I learned about this, there were so many books that I can get it to read. All right. So that's one purpose. I want you, when you're young, to learn about this, and you show interest and you started reading all those books. There's so many good books to read. Okay. And besides reading, that's different translations of Bible are going to focus on that, and the music and the arts. Who can name some famous art or music piece? Anybody?
Like the names of the art piece, or?
Yeah, like how about Handel Messiah, right? What else? What else?
Last Supper.
Huh?
The Last Supper.
The Supper is a music piece, or?
No,
it's an art piece.
The art piece. Yes. So good. Okay. So that's something you also start to pay attention. Okay. So next time you want to visit those places, okay? To Europe, to Israel. But church history has shaped our beliefs. Christian history deeply affects every Christian. It affects how we read the Bible. It affects how we view our governments. It affects how we worship. Yeah. So how we do it this way is because it's the past, right? Why church worship on Sunday? Why that we only have a communion and then no, another one. Oh, yeah, all these ceremonies, okay? So another way also look at the history is called historical theology. It's more focused on how the doctrine was formed, right? So I point out this because my professor wrote this book and I help. That's my name here. we help to double check on all these contents. So if you purchase the book, you can see my name. All right, on chapter 30 and page 37. All right. Last one, to love church. That's one thing I feel very sad, especially young generation, is that they like Jesus, but not the church. Insight from the emerging generations. Probably you heard about this, right? Yes, church has a lot of issues because they make up of sinners. Just like your family, also a lot of issues, right? But yet what? We still love our family. We still love church, especially Melvin. Can you read this verse?
Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her.
You see that? Jesus loved church, gave himself. And he said, I love Jesus, but I don't like church. That's some problem here. Jesus, you love church. So we need to love church, right? Because that's what Jesus does. Although, yes, church, you always can find a lot of problems. We said, And that's how we're going to make it better, okay? So, all right, let's just get an idea of why we want to learn church history. Probably there's more other issues you can think about, okay? All right, now we're going to divide the church history on the period of time. I found this way is easiest, okay? The first, you can say first 500 is the early church, okay? The first 500. We're going to have a final, this probably is going to come out, this question. Then the medieval Christianity is 500 to 1500. Wow, this is about 1,000 years. And then the Reformation, we all know it well, right? It's from this period of time, 150 years. And then the modern church. Of course, you can subdivide it a lot, but this way will be easier. Okay, so later on, when you learn about a person, you want to know, oh, is this early church or this medieval church or modern church? Okay, you need to have this idea. Just 4 periods, okay? Simple. All right, so we are in the early church, and that's why we will focus on early part, okay? So the early church, this is the term we use, the early church. This is the birth. So we can talk early church, the birth, the expansion, and persecution. All right. So Danielle, can you read this one?
Acts 2:1. When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting.
Hey, this in the Bible, you know about this and you know it well. And what happened? They all filled by the Holy Spirit and start to speak in different languages, right? And that is the birth, we consider the birth of church. Why does AD 30? Anybody know? Why does AD 30?
Anno Domini.
Yeah, but why the 30?
Because maybe because it was around like the year, I guess, Jesus went back to heaven, because I'm pretty sure he was born in BC 3.
Yeah, that's what you got it. Okay, we usually say AD BC is divided by the birth of Jesus. So actually, they all find out that was like 3 or 4 years off. Okay, so that's why Jesus started his ministry when he was 30, and he spent 3.5 years. So that's why about 30 AD. Okay. All right. That's easy. Just boom, Holy Spirit come birth, and then start to expand. Verse 8. Timothy, can you read?
Okay. Acts 1:8. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witness in Jerusalem and in all Judah and Samaria and to the ends of the earth.
Okay, great. Wow. And Timothy only 6 years old? You're 6, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you see, that's why church history is a story. We shouldn't limit the age, right? So everybody likes stories. So we can all learn together, young and old. I'm so glad that Timothy, you're here. Okay. And then so when the power of Holy Spirit came, Bible already said you need to go to all the places, right? So, but until chapter 8, that Christian was persecuted. So they got spread it all out, all right? Now, I just learned from this book, the Messianic Church Arising, very interesting. So at the day 0, how many Christians are there? Day 0. How many people praying in this upper room?
More than 200.
The Bible did say
11.
Huh?
11.
No. I didn't put it.
3,000.
How many? 120. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay, I didn't post it. The Bible did said 120 people. Okay, that's day 0. And then the day 1, Peter, filled by the Holy Spirit, he preached the gospel. How many people accept? Test your book of Acts knowledge. How many people?
3,000.
300. 3,000.
0.
3,000. Wow, isn't that amazing? 120 people is praying, right? And then the filled with the Holy Spirit, and Peter started preaching. The end of the day, 3,000. Okay. But think about it. The 3,000, do they have a building to go to church? Right? No, right? So right now we think about, oh, church need to have a building. Back then, they don't have a building. And the estimated probably at the year 1 is about 10,000 people already. And then year 2, by the time of Stephen was killed, 20,000. And it's possible to pick the populations of Jerusalem, half are Christian. In this high, that the church in Ephesus, has about 100,000 members and of Christian. All right, they literally took the city for Jesus. All right, there's another study that said the end of 3rd centuries is in Rome. There's about 1 million Christian in Rome. Isn't that amazing? And estimated was 1 out of 85 person was a devoted of Christ. Isn't it amazing? From such small group, and then spread it out so fast, right? It's a time sec. Okay, so they just show you, look at this map, right? Purple one is AD 100, is 85, 185. Okay, and then 325, boom. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it wish we would live the time like that? You can see the Christianity spread it out so fast, right? Very opposite than now, right? Oh, you're Christian? Oh, that's not cool. But back then, you're Christian. Oh, it's so cool. That's why that's other people tell them. Jason, can you read this?
Me?
Jason Kai, sorry.
Okay. Acts 17:6. And when they could not find them, they dragged Jason and some of the brothers before the city authorities, shouting, "These men have turned the world upside down, have come here also."
So people call Christian, these people turn the world upside down. All right? It's not Christian that claim themselves turn the world upside down, other people, right? So I find this is so interesting. People think, oh, now we have a church with so many Christians, then they'll go to a First Baptist Church of Jerusalem. No such thing. Where do they go for church? Where do they go? They go to people's home. Isn't it amazing? And you can say, wow, but only one pastor, only Pastor Peter. No, they have so many leaders. All right. That's the model we really need to relearn that. I feel like when I learn more, I say, wow, there's something we can do much better. All right. So we feel like, oh, big mega church now in America, so many mega church, right? This pastor can pastor for 10,000 members. But back then, many people that just worship at home, and now with pandemic, right? So God is pushing us back to the early church. Church birth, church expand, but there comes time of persecution. All right, if you're going to grow, you're going to love Jesus. Jesus always said the world will hate you, right? But this is also a heroic age of the church. So about 64 to 303. Oh, think about that. So long. Many people think, I'm gonna live in this time. But yes, the early church, the Christian lived under persecution for, wow, how many years? For almost 300 years, right? And the first one, what we call first one is 64. The burning of Rome, right? That's Rome is the capital and has a big fire. And Nero, okay, remember, have you heard about this emperor? Nero. He considered the first emperor to persecute Christians. That rumor said he set a fire on the Romans and he was watching this for his pleasure. But then he burned on Christian to set out the fire. And so Christian got persecuted very, very badly, okay? So including Peter and Paul, they all died under Nero, okay? So that is the first persecution of Christian. But it's still only in the city of Rome. It's not out spreading the whole entire Roman Empire yet, okay? So remember this event, AD 64, Nero persecuted Christian because the burning of Rome, all right? Okay, another one we want to learn about is the fall of Jerusalem, right? Under Jesus' time, who ruled the Palestine or Jerusalem? Who can answer me? At Jesus' time.
Romans.
Huh?
The Romans.
Yeah, Rome, okay. So Rome, but then later on, the Jewish people that revolt. We are not going to under you anymore. We want to be independent. So the Rome sent soldiers to come to siege Jerusalem. And finally, in AD 70, remember this year, okay, AD 70, very sadly, they conquered Jerusalem and then destroyed the temple, okay? The 80s, okay, this just some notes, the background. So Josephus, you're interested, look at his book, Josephus. And actually I have that, okay? I started accumulating a lot of these books. It's a lot of, so Titus is the general who conquered Jerusalem, Titus, okay? Later on, he became the emperor too. And that's why when you go to Jerusalem today, you're gonna see the Wailing Wall. It's the last remaining wall of the Temple Mount, okay? During that time. Because before it was a temple there, it was burned, destroyed by Rome on AD 70. And this is the only remains. And that's why the Israel, they go there to pray, because that's a part of the temple. It's amazing, right? And then later on, the Muslim built this Dome of Rock, okay? Who's that? I was there. You go there, you can pray. They put their piece of paper into the hole. Okay, so I was there 2018, right? And after the Jerusalem fall, few thousand remaining soldiers and the families escaped to this called Masada. Wow, it's amazing place. Look at this rock. Now, you need to take this car to go up, very high up. This is the model. King Herod built this So in case some enemy come, they can hide it here, and this can host a couple thousand soldiers live for years. Isn't it amazing? You think we are very smart? People back then even smarter. They can build this for 2,000 years ago, right? More than 2,000 years ago. And but very sad story. In AD 73, Roman soldiers also conquered this. So finally, all this revolt got crashed down, and people commit suicide. All the soldiers commit suicide. They don't want to surrender. Okay, I was there too. So if you go to Rome today, you're going to see this ark of Titus because he conquered Jerusalem. And look at this. They took all these instruments from temple. It is very sad, right? So, but from the church history, this is something we need to know, because the result of for Jerusalem, now Jews exclude Christian from synagogue. Before AD 70, people couldn't differentiate Christian and Jews. So there's a small group of Jewish, and they are legal because the Judaism is legal. Is Roman Empire that recognized that, but because of for Jerusalem, now totally separate. Okay, and this is temple history. You also need to know. Okay, we all know. Solomon built the first temple, right? King Solomon, in 957, and got destroyed by Babylon in 586. If you read the Bible with me, we talk about this. Who built the second temple? Who can answer? Who built the second temple?
It was Zerubbabel.
Yeah, very good, Zerubbabel. Okay, he built it called Second Temple, 516 BC. And Herod the Great expanded in 19 BC, and it was destroyed by Rome. All right. So you need to know the first temple is destroyed by Babylon. The second temple destroyed by Rome. In what year? All right. And if you go to Israel today, you can visit the temple museum. They're going to prepare to build the third temple. And people said that would be the World War III. Okay. So this all very significant, very important even up to today. All right. Because why there's World War III? Because here is the Dome of the Rock. It's also the holy site of the Muslim. So if you want to build a temple, you got to tear this down, and they're going to be World War III.
If they tear that down, it's not going to be good, is it?
That's why they call there'll be World War III. Okay, because they built it on AD 691. We're going to talk about it later. Okay, that's why history, church history, is so important, even related to today. If you look at the news, this is going to occur in the news very often. And you say, oh, I know. And especially, I've been there, all right? And hopefully one day, okay, we can all go there to visit, all right? Okay, so from after the AD 69 to AD 61, basically, except Nero, nobody the church, okay? But this one, Domitian, is the first emperor to persecute, spread the entire Roman Empire, okay? Nero only persecuted Christian in the city of Rome, but Domitian started to persecute all Christians, and that's trouble. And so, because of that, that's called, we need to defend our faith, apologetics, right? We know about this, to make a defense. And many early Christian writers started to write to defend Christianity, because you shouldn't persecute us. You know, we are not an evil people. So that's why you look at the early church, they have so many writing about this. And the famous one is Justin Martyr, not Justin Bieber, right? Justin Martyr. because he's the one who died. Martyr is died for the faith. And he's the first apologetics. And he said, you can kill us, but you cannot do us any real harm. That's something that this type of spirit we should learn. And also, you know what he did? He wrote a letter to emperor. Okay, he wrote a letter to emperor saying it's wrong for you to persecute Christian, and not only that, you should become Christian. Isn't it amazing? Maybe today we should have someone to write it to the president, to a governor. Say, if you claim you're Christian, you should follow what the Bible teaches. We should have some people like now, okay, like that, okay? So, and willing to pay the price. He got killed, all right? I just picked two persons, okay? This is Polycarp. He's the bishop of Smyrna. I hope March I'm going to Turkey. I'm going to go to Smyrna. So, you know, that's why I want to visit those places, because I read about it. I want to see the place. And he considered, you know, the 12 disciples, right? He was the disciple of John, right? And he became the bishop. And also during the persecution, he got burned. But before the people burned him, they said, just say you're not Christian, we will set you free. That's what he said. He said, for 86 years have I served him, and he never did me any wrong. How can I blaspheme my king who has saved me? Wow. You see, people pay the price. And even today, you see, look at the Middle East, right? People still die for their faith. So why we couldn't? Why we are different, right? If you watch the movie, you'll see that. And then, okay. Who can, Shoshana, can you read this 5:10 method?
Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, and theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Oh, now you know how the verse got applied, right? People do need to suffer but for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And this is very famous word of Tertullian. Who said, who know this guy before? Want to read it for us? Who know him? How about just Dominic? Can you read?
Okay. The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church.
Okay, this is a very famous saying. You should know. Probably you heard this. It's okay. You see, whenever the Christian got persecuted, actually it grows more. All right. Okay. I'm just going to quickly cover the last part. Why did the church grow? And I found that it's very fascinating. And I wish in the future we can devote more on this subject, the early church. Actually, after this, what we're going to do is just want to back to the early church, okay? The first 300 years. That's where the church really, the church. And there's this guy who did a study, okay? I got it from his book, The Decline and the Fall of the Roman Empire. And that's what his observation, okay? First, these Christians, they have inflexible zeal of the church. I really want to have the passion, the zeal for the church, okay? Because, especially under the persecution, these people back then, they refuse to involve with the church, other pagan worship. They want to be different, okay? And they pay the price. And that's why people think, what's wrong with these people, all right? So the early church Christian, they have this zeal, this passion for church. By going against the grain of paganism, the ancient brotherhood was constantly flexing its spiritual muscle, Hardship make them strong, and the stronger they grow, the more rapid the faith spread. Isn't it amazing? And it just helped me to see why we are trying to avoid the hardship. The hardship for the church make them stronger. Second, they're waiting to have a future life. They know Jesus is going to come in again. So they know the suffering is just going to be temporary. So they are not afraid of suffering. All right. And they'd rather be faithful to death because they want to see Jesus come. Jesus said, you are faithful. So they have this attitude. Okay. Third, miraculous powers. You look at the book of Acts, they have so many miracles. All right. And we oftentimes they say, oh, that's just back then. Well, what's wrong? Why just back then? We live in a different God. So when they truly believe, they exercise the power of Holy Spirit, they see many miracles. All right. So this is something that we lost. All right. We just heard about this, talk about this, but we don't exercise. All right. So next time, I'm not saying you're going to, I mean, just feel like if you hear that your friend doesn't feel well, you just say, can I pray for you right now? Okay? Just do it on the phone or something. We just pray for you right now, right? And you see what God will do. Number 4, Christian morality. They are different. I read this, I don't have time to translate. They said that if you want to become a Christian, you need to observe you and be training for 3 years, and then you can be accepted. Isn't it amazing? Now we have a 5 weeks baptism class. Oh, join, right? Easy. But back then, they need to have the first, you need to get rid of all your bad habits. Second, you need to know how to behave. And third, you gotta know how to pray, all this. And after this, they look at you, okay, now you are accepted to the church. Wow, which church can dare to do this now? Okay. And so they very careful. You need to live a Christian life with Christian morality. And that's what people talk about Jesus, Christian back then, okay? Someone who can read this from me, any volunteer?
And yet there is something extraordinary about their lives. They live in their own countries as though they were only passing through. They play their full role as citizens, but labor under all the disabilities of aliens. Any country can be their homeland, but for their homeland, wherever it may be, is a foreign country. Like others, they marry and have children, but they do not expose them. They share their meals, but not their wives.
I especially love the last phrase. Isn't it? They share their meals, but not their wives. So you know that back then, the morality is very, very bad. And look at it today. So sad. You look at many marriages breaking down, and especially they are Christian. So you see that? Those Christians, they share their meals, but not their wives. The last one, Christian union and discipline. So they united together very strong, but also do the discipline. You know what's discipline? If you don't behave, they kick you out. The Bible did talk about that, right? If you don't behave, Paul said, don't eat meal with them. Throw them into with Satan, hope they can come back. All right, discipline. You think about which church you dare to do church discipline. But when we lost all this, actually make church so weak. So the early church was characterized by a sense of solidarity. The Christian unity provides a source of strength against the hostile force of the world. Now you know why I want to learn church history, because we are living in a very hostile world and we didn't know how to counter that. Second, the historian note that the disciples were cautious to detect the error of heresies, and remove them. Because if you let the heresy to stay in the church, they're going to grow and they're going to destroy the church. And that's what's happening today. So they're very careful on this. Okay. I'm sure there are many factors that early church growth, but there's some I find very, very interesting and helpful. Okay. And this one reference book, you can, if you like to know that how Christianity changed the world. Because very often you learn, oh, Christian church did a lot of bad things, so we don't want to like church anymore. Yeah, but they did many good things, and that's the book talk about that. You can have Chinese also. Okay. And funny thing, once I joined the Zoom meeting, and this Wang Xiaodan was in the mid-Zoom meeting. I mentioned about this book, and then someone said, oh, she helped to translate. Wow, it was so interesting. Okay, so the breakout room discussion, okay? So share the story of your own church, if you could, if you know, and then or introduce yourself.